Good morning, gardeners. This is McGarren Flack. Just going to give you a quick little tour of the citrus that I have growing in my front yard. This is zone 8B in St. George, Utah. And my temperatures are just a little bit different than most of St. George, but we'll just start off with this. This is a variegated centennial kumquat. And I have yet to get any kumquats on this. This is its second year in the ground, so it's been in the ground for 1 year. Last year is a little touch and go. Last summer it really got burnt and I had a lot of dieback, but you can see right here, this is good. I'm getting some new growth. It's going on there and back here, down there, a little bit of death. But two things that I did. I increased the watering. I put some wood mulch down here with the increase of the watering during the summer, and I put this shade cloth over it, this 50% shade cloth. And I did that with all of the citrus trees except for the loquats. So put the shade cloth. I found that if I have the shade cloth directly around it, it tends to heat it up inside there. So you need to have a good amount of air and just shade the sun from directly hitting it. So east is this way, west is that way. So I have it set up so it is covering most of the middle of the day and the towards the evening where we get our hottest temperatures. So less direct sunlight, and it is doing much better. The loquat, pretty well established. This guy doesn't need to be covered because it's so big. It's about 4.5, 5 feet tall. And I'm hoping I'll get some fruit on this, but I've seen a couple of loquats that are located here in St. George, and I haven't seen any fruit on them, but maybe I can figure out a way to get this. Either way, it's a beautiful evergreen. I love the look of these things. This one is doing really good. I think it just gets shaded in the afternoon sun by this, and it helps it so that it grows. The other thing that I have with this loquat is I have a 2-gallon and a 4-gallon emitter on either side of this, and it has really grown well. I'll talk about the other loquat here in a minute. This is, or was, I should say, a Satsuma orange. It actually ended up dying back, and now it is down to the graft. So died back. I grafted this variety on it. I tried two. There's one. There's the second one, Fukushu kumquat. I don't even know if this kumquat variety will survive, but it actually is growing really well, and with the shade cloth, it's protecting it really well. But there's the graft on it. Hopefully it will take, and I get rid of all of the new growth that is lower down on the stem, because that is the rootstock, and I don't want the rootstock to grow. But that is a graft that I did this spring, and it works out pretty good. Over here is a Maywa kumquat. Maywa, not my way, Maywa kumquat. This one almost died completely back this last year. So here you can see all of the death that has occurred on it, and I had to prune it down, but this part survived. I didn't put the shade cloth on until it was too late. When temperatures get above 100 degrees is when I'm putting the shade cloth on. And again, you got to make sure that it is aired out enough, that enough air can get in here to help it. There's just a little bit of burn, but compared to last year this whole thing just died back. There was one branch, this branch, that was actually surviving. This one is not covered because it gets shade from this nice big tree. And the shade of this tree covers this Maywa kumquat, and it actually is doing really good. Has some good growth on it. It even had a couple of flowers on it, but I don't care about the flowers this year. Next year is when I want the flowers, but you can see new growth. It's what you want to look for, what you want to see. This has two 2-gallon emitters on either side. All of the citrus have two 2-gallon emitters until they get bigger. Then I'm going to increase that. So let's go over to this one. This one is a Cara orange. I love Cara oranges. They taste so good. This one has been having a hard time, but I don't blame it. This is really rocky ground that's down here. I mean, I've these rocks, and then there are more rocks and more rocks. It goes almost a foot down in rocks. So good drainage, but I just don't know if it's getting enough water. I put sand in the center of it, and it took root, and it started to die back even at lower temperatures. But as soon as I put the shade covering on, it's starting to grow again. This also has 2 emitters that are 2 gallons each. You can see one that's right there, and the other one is buried underneath here. But it's holding on. It's not growing really big, but it's holding on, which is the important part. This was, and I say was because it died back, I thought it was an Owari Satsuma mandarin, and these are supposed to grow well here in St. George, but this is the end of the Owara Satsuma, and here. So it died back. This is the rootstock. How do I know it's the rootstock? If you look down here, let's get a different angle. See right there? That's the graft. You can see the little triangle. That is the graft, and the graft is dead. So over here, this is not grafted. That means that this is the rootstock growth. And I'm okay with the rootstock. In fact, I'm gonna take this guy here, and I'm gonna break that off because I don't want it to be competing with anything else. There it goes, just broke it off. Now I have this one that is growing, and I'm going to use this one that is growing, and I'm going to chop it off down here and do a new graft, probably a Satsuma orange. For some reason, this got transplant shock and died, but this is the ratty, ugly looking rootstock. I guess it could be pretty, but you can tell it's the rootstock because it has 3 lobes on it, 3 leaves going in each direction from this point. The fruit from this rootstock, not very good at all, if you can even eat it. So gonna take this, and next spring I will graft a Satsuma orange to this because I really want to have Satsuma oranges and have them grow outside. But again, covered for the midday and evening sun. All right, now we're going to the last one. Okay, so here is the second loquat, and it is looking pretty beat up. Some of these dead leaves, portion of these leaves. I want to leave them on there to shelter out the other leaves. The new growth is not looking so good. Instead of a green, it's slightly orange, and that provides a problem. That means I wasn't getting enough water. I checked my water line. That's why drip lines are better. So I have a drip emitter now here. It was an adjustable emitter, and I guess it was clogged and it wasn't watering very well. And I didn't notice until this was starting to dry out. So I've replaced it with a 2 liter, and then I have, or 2 gallons per hour, and then I have a 4 gallon per hour emitter here. And hopefully that will be enough to be able to stimulate growth. But that's all I have for the citrus in the front. I have potted citrus too, but I want to see if this stuff will survive after its first year of being in the ground, or second year. And once they get a little bit bigger, I'm thinking when they're about 3 feet tall, that will be high enough for them to support themselves without shading, which is why I made these shade things so big, so that hopefully they will shade them when they get bigger. And all I've done with these is just create them out of PVC, and I drilled holes in the corners and staked them down to the ground because we get 50-mile-an-hour winds sometimes, and put the shade cloth with zip ties over it. That's basically it. They've held up pretty good. Every once in a while I have to come out and check and see if they have been knocked over, but I want the morning sun to get on them. I just don't want the blazing afternoon and evening sun. So I hope this info was beneficial, and let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. I'm watering them every single day, but they are planted in sandy soil. So every day now watering, and this loquat is just loving it, along with the citrus. They're just loving it. And I thought that citrus were very temperamental with watering. I found that these citrus trees are enjoying this watering regimen of every day more than my stone fruit. My stone fruit, on the other hand, is not liking it. They like more of a deep watering. But it also could be that these are new and newly planted, so a daily watering is beneficial, and then once they become more established, a more deep watering would be beneficial. So we'll see though. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you want to. If not, that's fine. And I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for educational purposes. Okay, everybody, have a great day.